So welcome to session 3 of the Rewire for Health 6-week meditation campaign. So it doesn't matter if you haven't been using the videos that have come before now. Obviously they may still be available online to have a look at, but I'll just do a little brief recap. So most important thing is that you're comfortable for the time being. So we're here to learn a little bit more about meditation and how it can help us. So far we've learned that meditation is about improving our concentration and our attention, because the mind is busy and it likes to be stimulated, and it's not really used to having space and quiet and gaps in between the thoughts. But as we practice sitting, or we can do active meditations, but as we practice and we start to strengthen our attention, and we might also notice that the thought patterns that we have can also slow down, particularly when we need them to. So it's not all the time, because obviously if we were in a Zen-like tranced out state, then that wouldn't be helpful for the majority of the time. But when we want to be quiet and still, and we want to relax and settle the body and the nervous system, then this is when meditation is really helpful. And the idea is that you can use some of these practices wherever you are, and hopefully as you start to learn them and you embed the practices, by giving yourself a daily sit. So this is when you decide what time of day you're going to do it, and it becomes ideally done at the same time every day. And if you can do it for the period of 40 days, then that will definitely have you going towards rewiring your brain. If you can continue with that for anything up to 8 to 12 weeks, then you absolutely will have rewired your brain. So there'll be a shift from the way that the brains automatically work, from the kind of more reactive part of the brain to the more compassionate part of the brain. And I spoke more about that last week. So we've used various different practices so far, and they've been different lengths. And one thing that I would say is it's always helpful to know if you're having any experiences or challenges. Please do get in touch, let me know at hello@joannebull.com. And then hopefully I can I can rework that in some of the trainings that I share. So we'll do a few practices today. I'm going to do a longer practice as the second practice, and we'll do an introductory practice which we'll begin now. So again, making sure you're comfortable. Personally, I do like to do my practices either sat upright on a chair or in a cross-legged position, because I do practice yoga, but you don't have to do that. The most important thing really, in our culture, we really find that the hips and the lower back, the muscles around that area can be quite tight, so it doesn't always feel comfortable to sit upright. So one of the things that I encourage clients to do is to just slowly kind of wiggle the hips and the lower part of the pelvis. So you could draw like a little circle on your chair, kind of rolling from one side to the other, and just see how that feels. And see, with your feet flat on the floor, knees and feet hip distance apart, just see if there's a position you find yourself in that feels a little bit more comfortable. And if it is, just stay there. Let everything settle down. So your bottom rests into the chair, but also your feet rest then comfortably down onto the floor. And in an ideal world, your pelvis would actually be a little bit higher than your knees. So that's something to consider when you're doing this at home. You might actually have a little cushion at the back, so that gives you a little lift. Your feet do need to be in touch with the floor, because otherwise your knees are going to get strained, which will strain your hip and your thigh area. So again, just be very aware of when you sit, whether you're getting a comfortable sit. And I'll time, so you don't need to worry about the time. And you don't necessarily need to have your eyes open for this. It's entirely up to you, but I'll just check my timer. And the first one we'll let the arms just rest on the thighs. So the hands rest on the thighs, palms up perhaps this time. We've done a lot of work with palms down, so palms open and facing up. And just let the fingers come together so you create like a little cup. So it's like this open, receptive feeling and that invitation to just experience this little. So slowly settling in, slowly settling in, feeling your feet on the floor and slowly allowing your mind to, well, your awareness to focus on your breathing. So what does your breath feel like at the moment? Notice how your breath is moving your body. We're not going to change it at the moment. We're just going to observe and see how it feels. So noticing when we sit with our feet flat on the floor and our pelvis feeling comfortable. Spine is long, the jaw is released, face is soft. And now I'm going to talk you through this little breathing practice. So we're going to breathe in through the nose for the count of 5. We'll hold the breath for a count of 5, and then we'll breathe out through the mouth for a count of 5. So when I start, so breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, holding the breath, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathing out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, holding, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, holding, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Final round. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Holding, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let your breath return to normal. Observing how your body is being breathed now. Taking your mind's attention to the subtlety of your breath. So which nostril does it arrive through? There will be a dominant side and it changes throughout the day. Notice if the same nostril is dominant on the exhale. Feeling your feet on the floor, spine supported upright, top of the head rising towards the sky, jaw and the face released. And then very slowly, just open the eyes. Give your shoulders a little bit of a shrug. Have a little wriggle on your seat. Maybe stretch the hands, wriggle the toes. And I haven't got the option here to have you speak, but you're more than welcome if you wish to type in on the chat box, either now or towards the end, and I'll pick up messages. So we can use the breath as a tool for the focus. So far in the practices that we've done, we've just observed the breathing rhythm that we've had, and quite often the feedback from clients is when we do practices, they'll find that as they start to drop into a more comfortable sitting position and they drop it into a more meditative state, that they become aware that their breathing changes. So it could become softer. it could become a little bit deeper, the inhale could be longer. So there's a lot that the breath can give us in terms of information. If the breath is short, then it means that potentially we've just gotten used to a shallow breathing pattern, which generally is caused by strain and can be anxiety as well, and holding patterns. You know, if we feel like we're carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders, it can mean that we breathe overusing the muscles at the top of the ribs to the neck, and then this whole area becomes quite tight. So what we're looking to do is hopefully find a bit of freedom for the breath, not only through the upper chest, but the rib cage, the side, the back and the front, the diaphragm muscle, which runs inside and up into the top part of the abdominal cavity, and then that will influence also how the pelvic floor responds with the diaphragm. So this breathing practice, this counting system, you can increase as you feel comfortable. So in yogic practices, the number is far higher than 5, but to start off with, I think 5 is a nice starting point. And you could count this silently in your head, or you could use your fingers. So you could just touch the pads of your fingers and thumb, 5, then go back round. So there's lots of different tricks that you can use, but begin with equal numbers: the inhale, the hold, and the exhale. If you're confident with the ocean breath, the Ujjayi breath in yogic practice, then you would do all of the breathing through the nose. But again, if you're not comfortable with that as an idea, don't worry. Okay, so we haven't explored moving meditations yet, and we'll see how the course for the campaign goes. I might do that. It does have a few challenges in terms of filming, however, so we'll see how it goes. But today, I'm very aware that for many of us, this is still part of the COVID-19 homestay lockdown period. So some of us might be feeling perhaps isolated, whether that's, we're by ourselves, or we're not seeing our family or our friends. Some of us might be enjoying that period. Some of us might find that quite stressful. But I thought it might be helpful to share with you a meditation that is going to be guided. So I'll talk you through it, and all you need to do is listen. I'll use some imagery and I'll use some suggestions, and the invitation is there for you to play with them if it feels appropriate. So I'm not trying to brainwash you in any way. I'm just going to use some very simple suggestions and see if they work. The idea is that we're going to go on a little journey together, and this journey is about relaxation and cleansing. So we're looking to energize and we're looking to cleanse. So with that in mind, let's come and sit. Making sure the feet are comfortable on the floor, the feet and the knees hip distance apart. Have a little wriggle of the pelvis and the lower spine so you can feel yourself nuzzled and nestling in. If you need support for the back of the pelvis so it's slightly raised, then try that. Spine is upright, crown of the head leading up towards the ceiling. As the back of the neck is long, the chin will just tuck down ever so slightly, so I'm exaggerating it. It's a very small movement. We'll let the arms rest down, and we'll have the palms again in that shape of a little cup. So fingers together, thumb resting at the side with an open gesture. And the eyes can be open with a soft gaze down the bridge of the nose if you'd prefer, or close them down. Let the eyelids rest, and we'll come to sit. Again, I will time the session. So settling into our foundations, knowing that we're in a space and hopefully we're not going to be disturbed. So this is a quiet moment, allowing the sounds from outside to venture into the practice. It doesn't need to be a sterile cave, so don't worry like me if other sounds come in, we'll just allow them to do that. Make sure you're comfortable, and if at any point you feel uncomfortable, then please just move and get comfortable. So eyes rested. And I want you to imagine that we're going to play with exploring an energizing light and a cleansing light. And I'm going to select the colour yellow, and if that works for you, then this bright yellow mist is going to surround you very lightly. And this bright yellow mist is filled with energy and oxygen and vitality. You can choose a different colour if that's preferable for you. But this is about bringing in vitality to the body. And as we inhale, we're going to slowly inhale. You could explore counting the breath if you like, and holding the breath and releasing. But as the inhale arises, visualizing this yellow energizing mist arriving in through the nostrils and traveling to the uppermost part of your body. So through the nostrils, into the nasal cavity, into the mouth, and then into the spaces in the head. So into the ear canal, into the spaces between the brain and the skull, all the nooks and crannies, and allowing all of that yellow mist to bring energy and vitality to the whole of the head and the face, the jaw and the tongue soft and relaxed. And you will have breathed out, of course, by now, but each time you inhale, just inviting that energizing light mist to come into the head and then down towards the neck and the throat and across the upper part of the shoulders. So just bringing that energizing breath into the uppermost part of the body. And then as you exhale, the breath is going to take with it anything that is not required. So the beautiful thing about this energy transfer is it will remove the waste. So that might be a grey mist drifting out. And as it drifts out of the body, it dissolves, disperses into thin air. Your feet are firmly on the ground. Your hips are rested, bottom on the chair. Spine is upright. And the energizing yellow breath is coming in to stimulate and energize and create vitality in the upper part of your body. And as each exhale leaves, it will take away anything that no longer is required, any waste products, tensions or strains. Visualize what's helpful for you. This grey mist leaves your body through your nostrils and slowly disperses into thin air. And hopefully you might have a sense of the upper part of your body feeling a little bit more energized as we take the visualization on a further journey into the body. So now we'll inhale, inviting that yellow energy, that mist to come traveling into the torso, across the collarbones, down the sides of the ribs, round to the back of the ribs, and down the length of the back. Each side of the spine receiving that yellow energizing mist. And as you exhale, allowing any waste, any strains or stresses from the back of your body to slowly leave as a grey mist out through the nose to be gently dispersed into thin air. Feeling your feet flat on the floor, supporting the upper body. If you feel like you're drifting off to sleep, then maybe open the eyes just a little. Stay with the practice. Inhaling, energizing yellow mist coming into the upper part of your body. And this time it travels down the collarbones and down the length of the arms. down towards the hands and the palms that are open on your thighs, facing up. Taking that energy all the way down to the fingertips and the tips of your thumbs. And then from the fingers and the hands and the arms and the shoulders, taking anything that doesn't need to be there out with the exhale and that grey mist, so it can disperse and disappear. Inhaling, inviting your next inhale to travel down again into the torso, and this time traveling down the collarbones and down the chest bone, around the heart center, and then down to the abdominal area. The upper belly, filling that with energy and vitality and oxygen. And on the exhale, any tensions or strains or waste releasing with the exhalation, and letting that grey mist carry it away to be dispersed around and about. This lovely energizing yellow mist that surrounds you and supports you. So this energizing, vitalizing yellow mist coming all the way down to the torso and down the length of the arms, so the whole of the upper body can hopefully feel oxygenated and a bit more revitalized. And letting go on the exhale of anything else that does not need to serve you. Letting the shoulders rest, the palms open and receptive. And then as you inhale next, we'll invite the inhalation of this yellow energizing mist to travel down the length of the spine to the pelvis, the hips, the lower abdominal area. Again, allowing that area to be filled with this energizing mist with relaxation. And as you exhale, allowing any tensions or strains to be released with a grey mist as you breathe out and allow the mist to disperse. Inhaling again that vital energy down to the base of the body, down to the abdominal area, down to the bottom, the buttocks, the pelvis. And this time taking that down the thighs to the knees, and then from the knees to the lower legs, to the ankles and to the feet. Inhaling to the tips of the toes, to the base of the heel. And as you exhale, letting go of any tension from the feet, lower legs, the upper legs and the pelvis. Exhaling that as grey mist, letting it disperse out around and about as you take and receive your next inhalation of your energizing, revitalizing, cleansing breath, receiving that mist and allowing it to travel back down to the legs again, so that the whole of the lower part of your body perhaps has a sense of being more energized. And allowing the next exhale to let go of any residual tension, strain or waste in that area as the grey mist leaves your body on the exhalation. As your next inhale arises, just allowing it to travel into the whole of your being, and maybe have a sense of this pulsating, energizing energy, this light yellow energy, this mistiness traveling all the way around from the top of your head, down your neck, across your shoulders to your arms and hands, down the front of your body and the back of your body, to the pelvis, and down the length of both legs to your feet. Can you get a sense of that energy pulsating within you? And as you exhale, just letting go of anything else that needs to be released. Grey, subtle breath leaving. And then just sitting with your mind's focus on your feet resting on the floor, the bottom rested on the seat, the crown of your head reaching, teasing up towards the sky, and this open gesture of your hands resting on your thighs, a gesture of openness and acceptance. How does your breath move your body now? There are no right or wrong answers, just observing. And then very slowly, we're going to bring the hands together and rub them vigorously so you generate heat. And then slowly place your hands over your eyes, resting your hands over your eyes just for a moment. And then you'll part your fingers and allow your hands to come down your face, so you slowly let the eyes see a little bit of light, light fingertips down the face. So meditation and concentration, I shared with you, is about coming into one center, like coming in, strengthening and focusing. When we focus the mind, we can strengthen where our attention goes. And that hopefully is something that you'll be able to reinforce with your home practice. So please dedicate some time, use the videos if you find them helpful. If you don't, then that's fine too. Work with your breathing, make sure you're comfortable, set your timer, do your practice. Write it in a journal or on a notebook if it helps you, just so you know. And if you're challenged with thoughts coming, I'll talk about that more next week. So thank you for sharing today. If you've got any questions, again, let me know at hello@joannebull.com, or you can pop them in the chat box. I'll stay on for a few more minutes if anyone has anything to share, or you can get in touch privately. As I say, either way is fine. So thank you for joining today.